Hi all, David here. I'm going to talk a little bit today. I thought about calling this video Parenting Made Easy, but I thought that was a bit of an overclaim maybe, and probably Parenting Made Less Difficult was probably about the right level. So parenting for us has been a joy. We were, I think, uniquely blessed in various ways in that neither of our kids had major illnesses and things like that can make parenting a lot tougher. So we recognise that other people have a tougher row to hoe than we did. But I think I'm going to talk about three things briefly that kind of have made it easier for us to be parents and that hopefully will also work for you. So one is just your mental attitude. I know it's actually really easy to go to playgroup or the cafe or wherever you meet with other parents and tell the war stories, talk about how difficult it is, how little sleep you're getting when they're babies, how naughty they are when they're older. It's easy to get I see the dialogue on Facebook at the end of the school holidays every time, oh, thank goodness they're gone, now I can get on with my life and so on. So I think a lot of that is about just your own mental attitude, that if you find joy in parenting, if you tell the narrative to yourself and to your partner and to your kids and to the people you talk with that you love the kids, you love spending time with them, you have great fun and adventures together, they're amazing little people and they're developing and growing and changing all the time. If you just, as I say, accentuate the positive, make the story be about how awesome it is being a parent, and when you're talking to other people who are prospective parents, don't tell, well, I don't know, ladies, you can tell the story about the havoc it's played with your body and so on, I guess, but that shouldn't be the main headline. The headline, hopefully, is how awesome it is being a parent. And I don't think that's fake. It's like everything else. If you smile, then you'll feel happier. Taking the action makes the emotion follow. If you tell the story about being a parent and how great it is and how awesome your kids are, then that also follows along. So taking joy in parenting is a big part of making it joyful, basically. The second one is try and, as far as possible, fit them into your life rather than you fitting into theirs. So we see so often young parents who suddenly never go out because it's the baby's bedtime at precisely 7 after they're feeding at precisely 6, and all of those things. And so your life then becomes very constrained. It's very different from how it was before. You're not doing your hobbies. You're not doing the fun stuff that you used to do with your partner and staying close to your partner. You are just completely rejigging your entire life around the baby's schedule. Our practice was kind of the reverse. Just lug them everywhere. Babies are incredibly resilient and as are small children, and they love to get out and about. They don't want to be stuck at home. So when they're newborns, they can be in the front pouch where they're facing you and they can hear you and smell you and be close. As soon as they're capable of holding their head up, they can be in the baby pouch that spins around the other way and has them facing out, so they're seeing the world. They're having experiences. It develops their spatial reasoning and their thinking. It stops them from being bored and fussy. So rather than in the pram, lying down, looking up at the boring old hood of the pram, having them actually in a position to engage with the world. When they're toddlers, when they can walk, having them walk. Even if you have to slow down a bit and walk at toddler pace and have them explore things and check out the world. So it's not building your life around the kids. It's taking them where you go. So we would go out to friends' places and stay the evening, and the kids would be quite happy going to sleep on somebody else's bed until we were ready to go home, rather than us having to go home and miss out on having a social life around the kids' schedule. So part of that, and I think also, as I say, the getting them out there, getting them having experiences. I think I have time for one tiny short story. When Cassie was about 18 or 20 months old, she was in a backpack baby carrier, so she could see kind of over my shoulder and around and so on. I went off to get something at the shopping centre and Sue went off to do some other chore, and I bought whatever I was going to buy, and we walked back and met up with Sue, and she just started laughing uncontrollably. I had no idea what was going on, but then I took Cassie out of the baby carrier, and what had happened was, as I'd walked through the checkout, she had yoinked a couple of those Lindt chocolate balls, one in each hand, and just gone full on. So she was all grin and chocolate from ear to ear, but she'd had a good time. So, and I think it serves the supermarket right for having those impulse buy items right there where kids can grab them. Anyway, and I guess the last piece is helping them learn to entertain themselves. And this can sound like an old person, grumpy, in my day we did such and such, and we didn't have these fancy newfangled iPads and devices, and I hope it's really not that. We certainly have always embraced tech. Sorry, I sound like I'm making it a lot about us. It's really just our experience, but it is backed up by some research and some knowledge in the field. It was always about embracing technology, and the kids very early demonstrated to us that they were advancing beyond us in various ways. They have great facility with that. But it was also balancing that with lots of other experiences of getting out and about, of going walking in the bush, or going shopping, or just doing things together. I think to some extent the fear is overblown of kids being able to just play and do things on their own. I think the incidence of stranger danger incidents is far down from when we were growing up, but yet the fear of them is much higher. So figuring out ways to keep them safe, protect them, but not overprotect them. So, they can walk to school, and if you can walk to school with them, even better. They don't need to be in a 2-ton four-wheel drive to protect them at all times. And so I think, a lot of the problems that we get with kids overusing the technology as a form of entertainment is because they're not getting these other kinds of entertainment. It's not to devalue technology or overvalue nature, but getting out there, seeing the world, smelling, chasing ants, spotting lizards, all of that kind of stuff. And also, going to new places, going to the zoo, going to just really interesting places that engage kids with the world around them in ways that a screen won't, is really helpful. And it means that they don't tend to develop that thing of, I need the dopamine, I'm going to be bored if I don't get, massive stimulation all the time. It means that they're capable of relaxing and spending some time. I guess one more tiny story. We lived in Perth for a while, and the girls and I were driving down to see Wave Rock, which is about 2 or 3 hours out of Perth. And we were driving down from the city, and we stopped for fuel and food and had a chat to a local who said the mistake people make is that they come from the city, they drive down really fast, they get out, they look around Wave Rock for 5 minutes, they are kind of disappointed, they get out and go back, and that's it. She said, stop, wait, relax, breathe, take it at its own pace. The rock has been there for thousands of years. It's going to be there for thousands of years after we are. So just stop. Let it come to you rather than rushing to it, taking some photos and some selfies, posting them, and then racing back. And that's been fantastic advice, not just for that trip to Wave Rock, but for life in general. And helping children to learn, the thing though is to model it. If it's, okay kids, I'm going to go over here and mess about on my phone while you go and experience the nature experience, then obviously that's not going to work. They need to see you reading for pleasure. They need to see you relaxing and taking time out. They need to see you appreciating the world around you and commenting on it being a great day and the weather and what's going on. Anyway, this has been a longer video than usual, even though I'm talking really fast. I hope it's been useful and interesting, and I hope it helps at least in making parenting a joy rather than a chore, something that you really enjoy at every stage, at newborns, toddlers, small children, teenagers. Yes, it's possible to enjoy having teenagers as well, and maybe we'll even talk a bit more about that. And just developing who they are as people and being there with them for that. Thanks a lot. See ya.